I'm Phyllis Lester. Welcome to my home. I'm going to show you a fabulous baked Alaska today. You know, that's actually baking ice cream. But first, this is one of my wedding cake designs. This is rolled fondant with piped embroidery. But come on, I'll show you some more cakes. There's lots to do. This is Bob, my husband of 41 years. I call him Bob the unskilled labor because one day he complained that he gets all the boring jobs. How come I get all the boring jobs, he said. And I said, first of all, you're the unskilled labor. And then we both burst out into hysterics and we never got to second of all. But he's been very helpful. He's showing you, these are insulated boards that we'll be putting the baked Alaska on. He's perfect at making these. These are some articles that were written about me. This was in the Soul and Herald. I donated a cake to the Taste of Cleveland. They were a lovely couple. This is Ramona Robinson. I did her wedding cake. She's a local newscaster. The Plain Dealer here did my pedophores, but they also did an article on my baked Alaska. I'm proud of my design for the wedding cake bag for American Greetings. And here I won Best of Cleveland 2006 for my wedding cakes. But I'm most proud of my wonderful albums of thank you notes from my clients. These are some of my cake designs. This was for a theater that was celebrating their 5th anniversary. I thought this was pretty funky. All of it's sugar work. This is cast sugar bride and groom and blown sugar bubbles. I learned that from Ewald Notter. He's a sugar specialist, wonderful school. And these are wedding cake designs that were inspired by some wedding gowns. This is piped embroidery. That's a special technique that I do, and the draping's really popular now, so I'm doing a lot of that too. So I have to tell you something that's really funny. When my daughter was little, she was babysitting. Well, she wasn't that little. She was a preteen. So she was babysitting, and she came home. She said, "Mom, Mrs. Friedman only has one spatula, and one set of measuring spoons, and one set of measuring cups." She was like in disbelief, and I said, "Well, she's normal. I'm not. This is me." So anyway, let's get started with this. And right now I have my big bowl. I have sugar. I have 250 grams of sugar in here, and I'm going to add 2 cups of egg whites. I'm going to put it over a bain-marie, a water bath. Most people don't realize that there's 3 types of meringue. There's ordinary meringue, Swiss meringue, and Italian meringue. So when you cook sugar and egg whites together over a bain-marie, a water bath, you're actually making Swiss meringue. Now you can see that the meringue is really high. It's all whipped, but it's still very hot. So I could start my roses at this point because otherwise it takes a lot of time. Well, through the years, I can't even begin to imagine how many roses I've made. But I like to make full roses and buds also. You'll notice that these are very large. The larger the better. This is this type of dessert needs a bold flower. I found that I learned from cake decorating that I was an artist. Okay, look. Here's what I was telling you about. This is the assembled Alaska. I have my cake, 3 flavors of ice cream, and at this point you really can't fool around. You really have to get the meringue onto the ice cream before it starts to melt. So I'm going to frost it's nice and cold. You don't want to put warm meringue on this. I haven't seen anybody do this. I think what separates me from a lot of other people is that I'm trained in baking as well as cake decorating. And now the fun part, I'm going to decorate this. So Tabasco, you just go straight up with this tip, the 2B tip, and then you go across. Then you mark your space. The first one's the most important because you need to mark your space. I'm going to make a rope border around the top edge. Look, we're just going to have enough meringue. I'm a professional. I'm just taking my roses and placing them right onto the top of the meringue. And at the end, I take that first rose tip and I make some bows. So I have my oven preheated at 425 degrees, and we're just about ready to put this guy in the oven. You just have to make sure that it's not too high for your oven. Look, isn't that great? It's browning so nicely. It'll need another 2 minutes because I want it more on the sides. Well, you want to be careful at this point because it's not a good idea to drop it. What do you think? Is that fabulous? I'm Phyllis Lester. Make your celebration memorable with a creation that tastes as fabulous as it looks. Phyllis Lester Designs, exquisite cakes with incredible taste.